Did you know that your lymph nodes play an important role in cancer staging? There are three common routes for cancer spread. First, direct extension to adjacent organ from the cancer growth. Second, vascular invasion, whereby cancer cells invade the vessels and migrate to distant organ. Third, and possibly most common one, is lymph node metastasis. In colorectal cancer, definite lymph node metastasis assessment conventionally done by visualization and palpation. Imagine this. You're getting this sample. From this fatty tissue, you need to manually palpate lymph node. There will be high chance of lymph node missed, especially when the size is less than 1 centimeter. Widely used cancer staging system, World Health Organization, WHO staging, the presence of lymph node metastasis indicates that the cancer is at least stage 3 and above. In Malaysia, 5-year survival rate of colorectal cancer in stage 2 is 72.5% and significantly lowered to 55.6% in stage 3. Imagine you were diagnosed as stage 2 in conventional assessment, but actually you were stage 3. Your window of treatment might be gone by the time it is discovered. Today, we're providing our very own lymph node revealing solution that has been clinically tested. So stick around, because what you learn today could change how we diagnose patients with colorectal cancer. First, let's start with the basics. How the lymph node assessment is done from the moment the sample arrived in the laboratory to the glass slides for assessment. Lymph node is a small, bean-shaped structures that are part of your lymphatic system. In colorectal tissue, it is located mainly around the adjacent fatty tissue attached to colon or rectum. When the colorectal cancer sample arrived to the laboratory, after registration and proper tagging, laboratory personnel will examine and sample the tumor extension and manually find the lymph nodes in the adjacent fatty tissue. After that, the harvested lymph nodes and tumor sampling are done and put into the cassette with proper labeling. These tissue in the cassettes will undergo an automated tissue processing for several hours. At the end of tissue processing step, the cassettes containing tissue are embedded in paraffin, and the paraffin is then solidified by cooling. Then the tissue is oriented in an optimal fashion for sectioning in liquid paraffin. The section cut tissue is floated in a water bath. Then the floating tissue section is then placed on a glass slide. The slides are dried in an oven for variable periods of time to remove any water present. Finally, tissue can then be stained and a cover slip added. This whole process might take between 16 to 72 hours, depending on the sample load and the number of laboratory personnel. After long wait, finally we can assess the lymph node under the microscope. But what if there is no lymph node seen? The answer is we need to get back to the sample and redo back the process that takes between 16 to 72 hours. Thus, not only this is a tedious process, it has also lead to delays in reporting. Now you might wonder, how can our solution help in this process? It's quite simple. After the tumor assessment done, we immerse the sample in our solution and let it soak for 12 to 18 hours. Then take out the specimen and rinse it under running water. Then cut the specimen every 2 to 3 millimeters. At this time, the lymph nodes are visible in dark tan color, clearly visible on the background of yellow fat, which is easy to pick. Then continue sampling as usual. This might limit the multiple relook to find the lymph nodes adequately, as WHO recommends at least 12 lymph nodes must be sampled for adequate staging of the colorectal cancer. Here's where it gets really interesting. Is it really effective? In our clinical validation study, using archival colorectal cancer sample, i.e. sample that are ready for disposal, technically this sample should have 0 lymph nodes as it has been examined thoroughly before. What have we found? A total of 229 additional lymph nodes harvested in 34 cases of colorectal cancer. Among these, a total of 9 lymph nodes metastases were detected microscopically. 3 cases showed up staging, a case from stage 2 to stage 3A, 2 cases from stage 3A to 3C. The usage of our solution also leads to smaller lymph nodes found, mean size of 4.4 millimeters as compared to mean size of 6.7 millimeters by conventional method. Today we've learned about the fascinating role of our lymph nodes revealing solution in pathologic diagnosis of colorectal cancer. Contact us for more details.